everyone. Welcome to the Hallmark Movie Drafts, where our panel of 3 guest general managers, the GMs, are all Hallmark movie enthusiasts, and they'll be competing and collaborating to draft the definitive list of the 10 best Hallmark movies starring Kristoffer Polaha. As usual, all of our GMs are Deck the Hallmark podcast double-deckers, and they love to rate, rank, and debate all things Hallmark movie related. And these 3 in particular are all Polaha superfans. I'm Lynn, your host and drafting commissioner, and with me is Erin Beth, my co-host and co-commissioner, and we are super excited to have our fellow double-decker, Jane, legend, joining us as guest commissioner.
Thank you.
Jane, you not only are a huge Polaha fan, you've actually met and hung out with Chris several times, and you've interviewed him. Like,
I did.
What?
Yeah.
Tell us about this. How did this happen?
Well, my very first contact with Polaha was actually during the Deck the Hallmark, the very first marathon. And Chris dialed in and was taking he decided to take calls from the people that were watching the marathon. And so the guys connected me on a phone call with Polaha on a phone call. And so for like 2 or 3 minutes, he and I talked for a couple minutes. And that was the start. At that point, I was like, okay, stalker mode engaged. And so I also have a Hallmark website where I review movies and interview people. And so I at some point messaged him and said, hey, do you want to do an interview? Well, he already knew about the site. He already followed me on Twitter. I followed him, obviously, and we had DM'd a few times. And so he said, yeah, absolutely. You know, it was overdue to do an interview. And so I got to spend an hour, I think, a little over an hour chatting with him. And it was wonderful. He's wonderful. And then we talk on Twitter pretty regularly on the DMs. Well, not regularly, but when I DM him, he responds. Let's just put it that way. And then last year at Christmas Con, the one in New Jersey, he saw me when I was waiting in line for him. And he's like, it's about time. We're finally meeting. Like, you know, because he recognized me from the interview. So I adore Kristoffer Polaha and have been very blessed to call him an acquaintance at this point.
That's incredible. What's your website called?
Hallmarkforallseasons.com, because they're not just for Christmas anymore.
They aren't. As all of our spouses and significant others and friends know. Yeah. Why we cancel plans. I'll put that in the show notes.
Awesome.
So that people can see that. So Erin Beth, here we are back again. Yes. When I was looking over Chris's IMDb page, like beyond the Hallmark acting credits and all of that, he's got producer credits, directing credits as well. He's been in a slew of feature films, including Jurassic World Dominion, which I love the Jurassic franchise, FYI.
Yes.
And in 2022, he starred in a Lifetime movie with Angie Harmon called Buried in Barstow, which I really loved. And it ended with a bit of a cliffhanger, and I've been waiting and waiting and waiting to see when it's coming out again. Oh, Jane, do you have a scoop on that? Do you know when it's coming out?
I don't know, but I'm waiting because they film it right down the road from me. And what's funny is when I found out where he was filming in a town called Shelby, which is right near where my college is. And so I messaged him and I said, you have to go to this barbecue place. It's the best place, you know, for barbecue in Shelby. And I went to college with one of the sons and it's amazing. And he's like, that's where we're filming. And I said, well, get yourself some barbecue while you're there filming. But that's literally the restaurant that they used is the barbecue restaurant that I recommended to him.
Wow. So a second one is going to happen, right?
Yeah.
I do remember reading that. Erin Beth, did you watch the first one? Did you like it?
Oh my gosh, I loved it. But I actually don't think I've ever seen Kristoffer Polaha in something that I haven't liked. So even if it's lower on the list of enjoyment, it's still good. I mean, it's Kristoffer Polaha. This was probably the hardest ranking that I've ever done because I like them all.
Spoken like a true fan. All right, so you and Jane have worked together to come up with the trivia questions that we're going to get to in a couple of minutes. So are you guys ready to do that in a few minutes? You're all set?
For sure.
All right, cool. So let's just jump right into introducing our 3 drafters the GMs, Tracy, Catherine, and Shannon W, because we have a couple of Shannons in the
Few of
double decker
us.
group. Yeah, there's a few of us. So Tracy, Shannon W, and Catherine are all friends in real life. And they all got together fairly recently, maybe a couple of months ago, to go to one of Chris's book signings in California. So Tracy, this is your second time drafting with us. You joined us for the Filmed on Location draft a couple of months ago. Tell us about when you and Catherine and Shannon W met up with Chris for his book signing.
Oh yeah, so it was it back in October? Yeah, when the book came
Yeah.
out. We were like, hey, is anybody going? And well, all three of us were going to Long Beach. So we all met up there. It was a rainy day. I remember that because we were trying to find a place just to get some wine. We got there early. Oh, and the restaurant that we thought we were going to go to was closed. Anyway, it was just anyway, but then it was also the first time that Chris and his co-writer had ever met in person. So it was kind of like this, like anticipatory, like, oh, this is the first time they're going to see each other in person. They've been communicating with each other via phone, and they wrote with Google Docs and stuff. It was the first time they met in person. So it was kind of fun to be there. And it was a tiny little place. Like, I think there may have been 20 people there, and that was it. They were like, "What's sold out?" Yeah, because they couldn't fit anybody else in there. It was really, really tiny. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. Of like, you'll hear what everybody says. He's the person that you think he's going to be. Like, and that's, I think, what anybody could ask for is he's just so genuine and so nice in real life too. What you see is what you get, and it's all good. So yeah. It was a lot of fun that night.
So Erin, Beth, and I are like the only two people in this session that have not actually met Chris in person.
It'll happen.
But we were at least on the Lunch with the Boys
Yes.
call when Chris like surprised us all during that lunch and phoned in from his current movie location, wherever that was. I don't remember, but that was a lot of fun. And he, just gives a lot of his time. So I think it's
I did
fabulous.
text my friends and told them that I had a Zoom lunch with Kristoffer Polaha.
Nice.
Figured I needed some kind of credit. That's all I texted. I'm like, I just had a Zoom lunch with Kristoffer Polaha.
You're tripping. You're tripping. Catherine, you love the Screen Drafts podcast, just like I do. And that's what I modeled this Hallmark movie drafts after. That's why I wanted to start this, because I think the format of this gameplay is just so much fun. And we all love Hallmark movies in the double decker group, and everybody's got an opinion and a voice. So this is just a great forum to, give folks a showcase on that. This is your second time drafting with us because, as I said, you went toe to toe with Tracy in the Filmed on Location draft, and you did really well there. So you're actually coming into this game. Sorry to say this, Shannon W. And Tracy, but Catherine returns to this game with a veto that she did not play.
Yep, I knew that.
She has an extra veto in the game when I get to explaining what that is.
Thank you for remembering that. I was gonna have to bring it up later.
Exactly.
I was hoping you'd forget. Oh.
Catherine, you said a few moments ago before we started recording that you studied more for this than you ever have in school. So I love your competitive spirit. Do you have a firm number one in mind?
Ooh, I don't know if I want to give that away yet.
Not the title, but just
I know I don't want to give away that I have a firm number, but if I do.
A top 3, a top 10.
Oh, look, I have a ranking. I'll tell you that.
I love you. Okay. Shannon W. Hello. It's so wonderful to have you here. You and I have talked a lot on Messenger and stuff before Bramblefest and everything. But this is your first time drafting. Are you okay going up against these two veterans?
Oh no, not at all. But
I like the confidence.
But it's like Erin Beth said, I feel like this is a great first ranking to get into because it's Kristoffer Polaha. It's not like there's not going to be a cozy Christmas Inn in this or some, it's pretty, across the board great. So yeah.
I love how shots can be fired against Brian when he's not
Even when he's not here.
Right.
I defend
As
Right.
my dad said, be
gameplay.
nicer to that Brian guy.
To that Brian guy.
I defend the gameplay for Brian. I don't like the choice, but I defend the gameplay.
Exactly. All right. So speaking of gameplay, let's just get to a quick review of the gameplay. So to be eligible, the movies had to have premiered on Hallmark or Hallmark Movies and Mysteries channel. So we're not including any of his feature films or television movies that premiered on other channels. And we're not including any of his brief cameo appearances like the one that he did for in Haul Out the Holly. For the Mystery 101 series that he starred in with Jill Wagner, each of those 7 movies are eligible as standalone movies to rank individually if you choose to. So your job is to collectively draft a top 10 ranked list from the 15 eligible movie titles, okay? So over the past couple of weeks, you guys put together your own personal top 10 list of Chris's movies. You rank them 10th to 1st, your number 1, and you're trying to get as many of your own picks on today's definitive top 10 list, ideally in the positions that you have them on in your own list. So how do we do this? So here's how we do it. There are 3 GM positions, A, B, and C, and each of these positions has a certain number of chances to offer up a movie title in a specific place, 10th to 1st place. These are called your picks. So in addition to your picks, each drafting position gets at least 1 veto that you can play in the game if you dislike an opponent's movie choice. And I'll explain how the vetoes work in just a moment. So the 3 drafting positions are this. Drafter C picks positions 10, 7, and 3. You get the standard veto that everyone else gets, but you also get the veto override, which is really special, and I'll talk about that in a second. Drafter B gets picks 9, 6, 4, and 2. You just get 1 veto, and this is because you get 1 more pick than anybody else, and those positions on the list are actually ones that can influence what the final list ends up looking like. And drafter A gets picks 8, 5, and 1. Drafter A gets the standard veto, and you get an extra bonus veto, which works just like a normal veto goes. So you get 3 picks, but you also get that number 1 pick to end the list. So how do the vetoes work? Let's say you disagree with someone's pick. You don't think it belongs on the list at all, or maybe you feel it should be ranked higher on the list. If you have a veto, you can veto their selection. That veto removes the movie from the position, but it doesn't remove the movie title from the game. Any one of the 3 of you can play the title again, higher on the list if you choose to. It's not gone. Drafter C has a veto override included. The veto override is really special. Let's say Catherine has the veto override and it's Shannon's turn to pick a movie. Shannon picks a movie, but Tracy vetoes Shannon's movie choice. Catherine can actually like Shannon's choice. So Catherine says veto override, and that cancels out Tracy's veto and it locks in Shannon's movie as she originally played it right in that position. The discussion's over. It stays on the list and we move on. Great. With me so far? Yay. So how do we determine, who gets to be drafter A, B, or C? That's determined by the trivia round. And so Jane and Jane and Aaron Beth have come up with Hallmark movie related. Yeah, Elizabeth. Where is she? She's late. Not counting Elizabeth. Such a slacker. Anyway, Jane and Aaron Beth have come up with Hallmark movie related trivia questions. So the first GM to answer 1 question correctly gets to choose whether they want to be drafter A, B, or C. And the second GM to answer the next question correctly gets to choose their position from the remaining 2. The one who pulled a Brian and didn't speak at all ends up with whatever's left over. Just keep in mind a couple of things. If you win the trivia round, meaning that you got to pick your drafting position first, that also means that you are first up in the veto order. So I will always go to you first to ask you, do you want to veto this play or not veto this play? So it balances out the fact that you got to pick your position first. So keep that in mind. And also, as I kind of said at the top of the program, Catherine has a veto already that's going to be extra for her. So keep that in mind as you go through your trivia round gameplay and when you decide which position you want to play. So after that long explanation, it's now finally time for me to be quiet and Erin, Beth, and Jane to take over. Good luck, guys.
All right. Well, Jane and I did the deep dive into Kristoffer Polaha. Very difficult, hard work there.
Yes.
So very difficult. With trivia, we have some rules. Some of you know that, but I will repeat them for you. Patience like a high school boyfriend rule. Do not answer until I have finished reading the question. If you interrupt me, the question will be discarded and a new question asked. Answer big ones. After the question has been asked, holler your answer out. The first one to holler correctly gets the question. If it's a tie or it's really, really close, then Jane and Lynn and I will decide who the winner of that is, and another question will be asked if needed. Failed Christmas tree lighting rule. If you failed to answer correctly, you must let the other GM try to answer before attempting again, unless it's a number question, and then we will just ask another question if it's answered incorrectly. All right, any questions about the rules?
Nope.
Okay, well, Jane is going to start with the first question. Take it from here.
All right. So what was the name of the doctor author that wrote the book that was featured in the Dater's Handbook?
Dr.
Dr.
Susie.
That was Tracy.
That was all
On
Tracy.
top of it, like quick and
Man.
anything. Did you look at your notes, or did you just know that?
No, I wrote it down today. I was like, took
Oh,
notes
she
before we
knew
came
that'd be
on.
trivia.
Okay, for those of you that can't see this, Tracy just held up this sheet of paper with a list of notes.
That's a lot of notes.
Way to
I
I
go.
have trivia for
Tracy-
every movie.
So Tracy, so I'm giving you a new name too. Tracy will be first in the veto order, and will pick her drafting position first as well. So while you're thinking about that, I will go for the second question, which is, what is the name of Kristoffer Polaha's production company?
Podunk.
Da, 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 da.
No,
Oh, wait, I may be
Catherine said it.
copyrighted.
Catherine
Podunk.
said it. Catherine
Oh,
said it.
Podunk. I thought you said hold on a second. I think you said hold on. That's what I heard.
But we can take a moment to hear
Podunk.
you sing and hum. That's fine.
You like? I should pick a different song. I'm like, that's probably copyrighted. I shouldn't sing that song. All right. Kristoffer Polaha's production company is Podunk. So Catherine, you will be choosing second in for your drafting position. You will be number 2 in the veto order. So Shannon, you'll be third, and you get whatever is left over.
All right.
Just the way you wanted it, Shannon. Just the way you
Just the
wanted
way
it.
I predicted it.
That's
Yeah.
the way you wanted it.
I think she has Brian. Are you texting Brian right now? Is that- Did he say play number 4, Christmas?
I don't care that he wasn't in it. Just put it in it.
Just
That's
play
right.
it. Just play it. Lynn doesn't know what she's doing. She's going to say okay anyway. It's all good. It's all good. So while Tracy is thinking about what position she wants to be, just a couple of things. So you guys are going to DM me in the Zoom chat when you make your selection. I'll announce the title and maybe a little bit of information, and then you can defend your pick, try to convince your opponents and your collaborators on why your movie selection should stay in the position that you're offering it up in, okay? And then I'll do like the veto order that we discussed to see if anybody wants to veto it or if we accept it. And then just so you know, as a side hustle, the 3 of us, Erin, Beth, not Elizabeth, Erin, Beth, and Jane and I have a side hustle going where we swapped our top 10 lists with each other before joining you all. And our goal is to see how many of the titles that are on your final list, how many are on the list that we put forward. So we're competing among the 3 of us just for bragging rights and lunch with Jane, I think. Weekly lunches with Jane, I think. So Tracy, I've stalled long enough. What position would you like?
I think after last time I realized the importance of having the number 1 pick. So I'm gonna go drafter A.
Tracy goes with drafter A. So that means that Tracy picks positions 8, 5, and 1, and she gets 2 vetoes. She gets the standard veto and the bonus veto. Catherine, what would you like?
Tracy knew what I wanted.
Mhm. Mhm. I remember how it happened last time.
Yeah.
Love, romance, and wine, or whatever it was. Jeez.
I stand by it. I
Okay.
stand by it. I will
Good.
go with.
It's hard to pick.
Knowing
knowing which one you're gonna pick.
I'll go with drafter B.
Drafter B is Catherine. So Catherine will have picks 9, 6, 4, and 2. She has the 1 veto for the standard play in this game, plus the other veto that she brings in from when she played filmed on location and didn't use it. So she too will have 2 vetoes, just like Tracy has. So that means Shannon W is going to be drafter C. They have shown you no mercy, Shannon.
No.
They start you off with picks 10, 7, and 3. But you also get the standard veto and the super powerful veto override. So not too shabby. That
Not
number
too
10
shabby.
pick. No,
And
that
if
number 10
Alicia
pick can be a
Whip
lot
has
of pressure.
anything, the veto override is very important.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Even
So-
though I was the one that
Excellent.
provided the mince for the stinky cheese, ladies, but it's all right. It's fine.
Wait, what?
The stinky cheese. No, it's not. That was nobody's fault. I don't think we knew. I don't think we knew it was gonna be that stinky. It was bad.
It
What
was
is the
bad.
stinky cheese?
We got a charcuterie board to share, and one of the cheeses smelled like feet.
Oh, it's horrible. It's so
It
bad.
was really bad.
Yeah.
But I did have some mints, so we were able to combat that. But as we were sitting there at the table chatting, we're just like, phew, what is that smell? And I thought it was somebody perusing the bookshelf behind me. I'm like, ooh, that smells. But it was the cheese. Yeah. So we moved that away.
No, I am sorry, Shannon. You were also very sweet and brought us Christmas cards that day.
Yeah, she did. That was really nice.
And then I ended up in the hospital that night. So I hope the same doesn't happen today. So let's just.
Oh my gosh. I hope not. I hope
right.
not. There's no stinky
Tracy,
cheese.
Catherine, and Polaha have been an interesting combination for me. So here we go.
Okay. So you DM me your number 10 pick in the chat
Okay, here we go.
whenever you're ready.
I'm ready. Okay.
That
There
was
we go.
fast.
All right. Wow.
It
She is really decisive.
On
So,
top of it.
Number 10.
number 10, Shannon W. has offered up very quickly a movie from 2016. Oh gosh. Now here's where I start mispronouncing people's names. It co-starred.
It's Amelia.
Thank you so much, Amelia.
Yeah.
Ullerup.
Ullerup. Yeah.
Ullerup. She plays Jenny. Chris is Matt. It's Hearts of Christmas. When Jenny plans a Christmas retirement party for her beloved hospital supervisor, she butts head with Matt, Chris Polaha, a new manager, determined to cut costs. Tell us why, Shannon W. This is your number 10
Okay.
pick.
So this was Chris's first Hallmark Christmas movie, and you can really see the difference between where he started and where he ended up. But he's still very much Chris, and the glasses they gave him were not flattering at all. I think he needs to revisit that with better glasses. But it was such a charming movie. I loved it with the hospital and the babies, and I thought it was wonderful. I did wish he would stop saying Jenny Miller over and over and over. And I was so sad that the man found the train set in the garage And then we never got to see him, get it later. But as far as Kristoffer goes, he's wonderful. He's Kristoffer. And yeah, so that's why I think it needs to be on the list. So I put it at number 10.
Yeah, good reason. Tracy, you're first up in the veto order. Are you going to veto this? What do you think of this?
I like this movie. I had to find it though. I found it and I watched it on YouTube. But
Oh.
I know I couldn't find it anywhere else for a rewatch. I don't know why I couldn't find it. But anyway, I got to watch it again. And it had been a while and I was like, Chris McNally's in it too. Oh my gosh. He's in a couple of these. I like it. I like Sharon Lawrence in it. I liked I always want to say Emily. I know it's Amelia. I always want to say Emily when I see her name. I always like
I was
her.
dreading someone picking this just for that.
I like her in it. I think it should be in the top 10 as well somewhere. So I'm perfectly okay with keeping it at 10. Not going to use a veto.
Not going to use it?
No, nope.
Catherine, that leaves you.
Yep, I will not be using a veto either. I actually also had this at number 10. I think it's, a great Polaha performance. I really like seeing him and Kimberly Sestad play siblings in this movie. And while I like Amelia Ollerup in most of her movies, and I actually really liked her in Chesapeake Shores, I really don't like her character in this movie. But I do like their chemistry together. Like she starts to lighten up in the middle and they have good chemistry. So I also put this at 10. So I think it's the perfect spot for it. And pro tip, you want to know how I learned how to say her name? YouTube.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah, listening to the
the
review on DTH didn't help me pronounce their names. So
they
that
said it
was really bad. So yeah, excellent work, you guys. We're locking in Hearts of Christmas in number 10 position. Before Catherine offers up number 9, Jane, what are your thoughts on Hearts of Christmas in the 10?
I'm shocked. I am shocked that this is only at number 10. Just you wait until the end of this episode. When I tell you where I thought it was gonna land.
I have it higher up on my list actually, but I'm gonna save my vetoes. So
I mean, this is just the biggest shock of the day for me right now. That it's only at 10.
Jane coming in hot.
All right, Jane.
I clearly don't know anything. I'm not the Polaha fan I thought I was.
No, you're not alone. There are many times Lynn and I get done and we're like, that is not how I expected that to go. So
I mean,
I'm
right
literally
out of the
crying
gate.
right now.
Right out of the gate.
Oh, right
word.
out of the gate. I love you. This is why Jane is legend here. All right, Catherine, giving you plenty of time. What do you send me your pick? Okay. So Catherine has chosen a movie that co-starred Lindy Booth as Sarah. Chris played Graham. It's from 2017. It premiered on Hallmark Movies and Mysteries. It is called Rocky Mountain Christmas. So here's how it goes. After her breakup with a famous tech entrepreneur makes national headlines, Sarah, Lindy Booth, returns to her uncle's ranch to escape the spotlight, where she crosses paths with a Hollywood actor who's looking to prepare for an upcoming role. Treat Williams is in this too. He plays her Uncle Roy. I think Chris McNally is in this one as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I've got down from, thank you, IMDb and Hallmark.com for these little storyline blurbs. Catherine, why is this your number 9?
Okay, so I have this at 9 because before going into this rewatch, I had this one higher in my head, and I think it's because I really like the cast, the exception of Lindy Booth. Sorry, Panda. I like Treat Williams. Chris McNally, one of his early performances is really good. And Polaha is super charming in this. He plays a movie star, which he totally is, and he is so good in this. but after rewatching it and then just rewatching everything else, it just kept sliding down a little further. And I think that a lot of times these movies rely on who the leads are to give us like good memories or to hold them up in our ranking land. But this, like, if it wasn't Polaha in this movie and it wasn't Treat Williams and it wasn't Chris McNally, this probably wouldn't rank very high on many lists. So I think 9 is a good place for it. I think it belongs on the list, but that's why it's at 9.
Good reason. You know, this movie actually reminded me a lot of 2016's Love in Paradise with Luke Perry, where again, like, he's a movie actor that
Yeah.
goes to a dude ranch,
Oh,
and
yeah.
like,
Mhm.
am I the only one that got confused with this?
No, they're very similar. I totally
They're
agree.
really similar. So, Tracy, you're first up in the veto order. What do you think of Rocky Mountain Christmas in the 9th position?
Oh, out of all of the movies, like Catherine said, when we watch them all, yeah, I think I had this one, like Catherine, higher up on my list, and as I rewatched everything, it slid down farther. I just rewatched it again yesterday and thought, oh, I'm gonna might move it up. Nope, just kept on moving. I don't have it in my top 10.
Mhm.
But that doesn't mean I'll veto it. Like I said, I don't know if it's Polaha. I'm trying to figure out. It's going to be hard to do this. Like, do we do it based on his performance? Because then these all could be, any movie could be top 10, or do we go by the movie as a whole? And then when we get to all the mystery 101s, how do we go there? Because it's all the same character and all the same, I don't even know. But I'm gonna save my vetoes. It's not in my top 10, but at number 9, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it at 9. And it happens to be the very first movie, the Deck the Hallmark, right? It's their first movie they ever reviewed. So, you know, there's a little bit of for us double deckers, there's a little bit of a sentimental thing to go with it.
reason.
Yeah, and I went
So,
back and listened to his interview that started it all with the DTH guys, and it just made me like, okay, this one has to be on the list, because like just in our DTH land, it's like it's
Yeah.
up.
So like I said, it's not in my top 10, but at 9, I can live with that. I can live with it at the bottom of the 10. That's fine.
Tracy's ringing endorsement. She can live with it at 9.
Yeah.
Shannon W, can you live with it at 9, Shannon? Or
Well, I had it at 9, so I would say yes. I'm so curious to see Catherine's number 1 at this point.
The line is so far.
But also, like Catherine and Tracy, I watched it yesterday, and it was higher, and I went, oh nope, it's gotta come down. But it's one of the movies that, you know, Chris gets the spider heebies, and I love when Chris gets the spider heebies so much.
That's funny.
But yeah, you know, I also felt, well, it does have to be on the list because, you know, Chris podcast. So yeah, it's number 9 for me too.
wow, okay, so locked in at number 9 is Rocky Mountain Christmas. I'm kind of scared to ask Jane. I cannot read her expression, so I don't know if she's going to say "good job, guys," or if she's going to, you know, add to her death list here.
I'm not as shocked. I'm middle of the road shocked on this one. No, I mean, you know, Rocky Mountain Christmas, you know, like they said, is a very sentimental favorite for the double deckers. Just because it is the one that brought Polaha into the Deck the Hallmark family. And so I did think it would be ranked higher because of that sentimentality, but I can totally understand why it would be lower.
Yeah. Evie, what about you? You've got like this wistful look on your face. Was this a movie that you particularly
Well,
like?
I will totally admit I didn't get to rewatch it because I didn't record it. I forgot to record it when it came on this Christmas. And then when I went to the one place I could find it, which was Peacock, I started to watch it and they were all speaking Spanish, which I do not speak. I thought I could call Jessica from Luke McFarlane draft fame and see if she could translate with me as we watched it, or I could just go off of what I remembered, which was, it was okay.
Literally almost
I-
spit out my seltzer when you said that. Too funny, too funny. All
Okay
right,
with
so
it.
we've
I'm
got,
okay with it at number 9. I won't veto it.
you won't be, well, you can't veto it, so that's okay. Hey, Shannon, guess what? You still there?
I'm here. I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, okay, good. Cool. Okay, so Tracy, you
Oof.
are next up to give us your number 8 pick in the DM. You guys are moving right along here.
Nice.
I'm gonna,
Very nice. It's
Mm,
because they haven't started picking through those mystery 101s yet.
Yeah.
no.
Those are the ones that make it harder. Speaking of
Okay.
Mystery 101, does anyone remember the name of the serial killer that threatened the life of Kristoffer Polaha's character in Mystery 101?
we called him Wolfman,
The
right?
Wolfman, yeah.
Wolfman, very good.
Guys, I'm still
Next time Tracy's
processing the
on, she's gonna have
question.
it like written across her arm.
Okay, I'm gonna do this one. All right.
All right, here comes Tracy. Here we go. All right. So Tracy has actually chosen a Mystery 101 episode. It's from January 27th was its original premiere date in 2019. It's the second episode in the series, and it's called Playing Dead. The local theater is producing a movie that crime fiction expert Amy unearthed. When one of the actresses' life is threatened, Amy and Travis must uncover which character is playing for keeps.
I
Sorry,
don't-
Tracy.
No, it's okay. It's so hard when we get into these mystery 101s because it's the same characters. And I did watch them all. I binged them all together. Like I did them in order from the pilot episode until that cliffhanger ending, which I will still say is a cliffhanger ending. I don't care what anybody else says. Even though they tried to write that one away with another one. But and it was interesting to see how Chris changed the way he played Travis Burke from the beginning until the end, like with an accent. Was a little bit heavy in the beginning and then it wasn't so heavy, and then how they just kind of developed their characters as he went. So that was kind of interesting. I like this one. I like the kind of a play within the play kind of idea behind it. And just being able to say a dramaturg, that's kind of funny to me. Dramaturg. I never heard of that. I didn't know. I was all, what is that? Oh, okay. That's Amy Winslow. Anyway, and then you get to see the progression of Travis and Graham's relationship as he turns into this like a Graham Winslow super fan. So I kind of like that. It's so I have it as 8 on my list. So I thought, let me just put it here.
Good play, good play. Catherine, you are next up in the veto order. What do you think of Playing for Keeps?
Yeah, so I spent my
I'm sorry, Playing Dead, sorry.
it's Plain Dead, yeah. I spent my Saturday, January 7th, binge watching all of the Mystery 101 movies.
Yep.
Because I knew that what would happen is if I watched them a long time ago, they would just run together in my brain, and
Mhm.
getting here, I wouldn't remember which was which. So these are all very fresh in my head right now. And I will say this was, it doesn't matter. I ranked these specifically on their own, and this was my 3rd favorite of the group, because I do agree. I like the like play within a play thing. And, it was fine. I'm not going to use my veto.
You're sitting on a pile of vetoes. I mean, if you want to move it
Fine.
up
Only
the
two.
I
list.
think we're learning that Catherine is a veto hoarder.
I'm going to show up one time for one of these, and I'm just going to own the whole list.
Yeah.
I have 10 vetoes.
Well, actually, you can only carry over 2. So
Oh, good to know.
yeah, that's your max. And your veto override can only be used on a 10 draft or more like this. So you can't, we don't do a veto override with like a standard 7 draft. So, all right, well, Catherine is saying, yeah, okay, Playing for Dead in the 8th position. What about you, Shannon?
Not one of my favorites. This one's not even on my list. Wasn't crazy about the supporting cast in this. That monkey drove me nuts. The fact that she found the thing in the little secret room was just ridiculous. I don't know, there was a lot of this one was really tense for me to watch, and there was a lot of back and forth tension that I don't know, I didn't care for this one at all.
You have
But
2 vetoes.
looking at the list, I'm more, yeah, I'm gonna save it. It's fine. It's good enough. It's not one I can't
That's good
stand.
enough.
There are some I can't stand, so we're just gonna leave it at that. So no, it's
love
fine.
it. All right. Well, Playing for Dead is not one that Shannon can't stand.
Right.
Like the double negative in there. Okay. You know what I mean. So that is locked in the 8th position. Jane, can you not stand this? What is the position?
This is a middle of the road mystery 101 for me. I wouldn't even put it as my 3rd favorite mystery 101.
Wow.
So I'm kind of surprised that it's made it into the top 10. This is one I probably would have vetoed if I had a veto.
If she had a veto, Jane
Yeah.
knows. Jane knows.
It's not
All right.
worthy. It's not worthy.
It's not worthy. It's not worthy. All right, that moves us up to let's see, Shannon for the
Me.
7th position. So while you're sending that over to me, I'll do a quick recap. We have Hearts of Christmas at number 10, Rocky Mountain, Christmas at number 9, Playing for Dead, the Universal, yeah, it's all right, at number 8. Well,
All right.
what will Shannon offer up for
All right,
number
here we go.
7? Okay, so
Real quick.
for number 7, Shannon has put forward another Mystery 101 episode. It's episode number 5 from March 29th, 2020, An Education in Murder. And it goes like this. Amy and Travis get another chance to help Amy's colleague who is convicted in a famous murder case. Shannon, why do you like this one at number 7?
I really loved this one. I loved the the play with Amy and Travis, just trying to have dinner together, and Amy's dad was just always there. The Howard character was a little bit too off the rails there, but that was fine. I love this story. I thought the story was really good. It was so engrossing, and it was one of the 2 that I did not figure out who the killer was. So I was so excited that, it gave me something to think about. So overall, I just really love this one.
Oh, it's great. Tracy, did you really love this one?
I have this one higher than Playing Dead on my list. Yes. I think this is the first time they kiss too. At the end. This is their
Yes.
first kiss as
Oh.
Travis and Amy's first kiss. And it's a good one too.
It's a
if
good
memory
one.
serves me correctly. They kiss some big ones at the
They
end of this
did.
one. So
Big ones.
yeah, so yeah, I like this one. Like I said, it's higher up than even Playing Dead is on my list. So putting it at 7 sounds good to me. Are we doing spoilers here? I'm gonna guess that people have seen these if they're listening. I
Just
don't
say
know.
spoiler alert. Skip
Okay.
forward to
Spoiler
that.
alert, go ahead.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Oh my gosh, that kid at the end, he was so good at being so mean and like with the scissors to the neck and the everything else. I was like, oh, I can't stand you either. Ugh. Like, get him, Travis, get him. And then anyway, and then it ended up being Amy. Anyway, I did like it. And so yeah, I'm good with that. I'm not gonna use a veto on that one.
No
Like it.
veto for Tracy. Catherine, what about you? What do you think of An Education in Murder?
Yeah, so when I said I ranked all 7 of these, this one was my number 1 from the Mystery 101 series. For everything you guys just said, I think it was one of the only mysteries that I was actually like kind of interested to see who it was. I didn't know who it was. I also, it's the first one they kiss. Finally, like we're waiting like 4 movies. That's the one thing I don't like about these mystery movies is you have to wait so long for the kiss at the end. So they're great in this. This is the best one, I think. Steve the Basic is a regular Hallmark actor who played the man who was wrongfully accused in this episode.
Yeah.
And he, I think, is like underutilized in Hallmark land. I was really glad to see him show up in Love Classified earlier last year, and he was really good in that. Unfortunately, he got stuck with the dumb role in the Tyler Hines movie last Christmas, but he was still good, even though he didn't know which phone number was which or whatever. So that one.
Oh, the time for him to
Time for
come
him.
back
Time for
home
him.
or something.
Yeah.
Time
So
for him.
it's this one stood out to me because I really do like that actor. And like I said, it was probably the best mystery of the 7, and they finally did. So I'm not going to override it. I think this one should be on the list.
You guys are so agreeable. No vetoes have been played.
Or we're
already
all
at
veto hoarders, one or
7,
the other.
except for Jane, who was ready to throw a shoe at the screen for the number 10 pick. How are you feeling about the number 7 one, Jane, in Education and Murder?
The last 2 are not the ones that I would have thought would have made it into the top 10. So again, I must not be the Polaha fan that I thought I was, because I've been wrong across the board. So I'm not sure I should be here. I think he's chosen poorly. I turn in my badge. I'll find somebody else to be a fan of.
If you turn in your Polaha badge, then you have to also turn in his phone number.
Oh, it's gonna happen.
So I think you should.
You can just turn that in right over here.
You just want to DM that.
You volunteer as tribute?
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take over, Jake. If it makes you feel any better, Lynn and my list are close to yours. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like, that's what I'm saying is there's so many times we get done and we're like, that is not what I thought they would do.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't even think there's a single episode where we have not said that.
Never been right.
Maybe we're not as good Hallmark fans as we thought.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, Catherine, you are up at bat mixing my sports metaphors since this draft is based on the NFL draft, but I'm saying you're up at bat in baseball. For your number 6 pick, please. We'll see what she comes up with. Jane and EB, do either of you have any other trivia tidbits you want to share while she's picking?
Yeah, I have one.
go,
I have
Jane?
a personal one. Sure. So Polaha was born in Nevada, lives in California, but where did he and his wife get married? What state?
Florida.
Dadgum.
Wow.
Yeah, did you know that, or was that?
I read his
Hallmark's
Wikipedia page
research?
yesterday, so
Wow.
That was
Brilliant.
research.
Wow. Okay.
Fantastic.
I have Catherine's pick for number 6. It is a movie from 2016. Chris plays Robert. A very certain someone plays Cass. That certain someone is the actress formerly known as Meghan Markle. It's the Dater's Handbook. Cass is a successful businesswoman who appears unsuccessful in her personal life and decides to try Dater's Handbook at her sister's encouragement. So she dates several guys to test the process. And when she realizes that she constantly picks the wrong type of guy, Cassandra Brand turns to relationship expert Dr. Susie and her latest self-help book, The Dater's Handbook, to help her with her ailing love life. She follows Dr. Susie's advice and to evaluate potential suitors, and then must ultimately choose between reliable George and fun-loving Robert. Catherine, why do you love this one at number 6?
I like this at number 6. I think it belongs like solidly right in the middle of the list. Because it's nothing groundbreaking for Hallmark. It's just like one of those old school Hallmark like rom-coms. Easy to watch, enjoyable, nothing wrong with it. The leads are good. I love Terrell Rothery. She's always bumps movies up in my head as Dr. Susie in this. I think the most important reason like it should be on the list though is it's Polaha's first movie with Hallmark. So it's like the beginning of a beautiful friendship, right? It's like this is the one that made him decide that he wanted to be a part of these movies. And I think it's a good movie. I think like in the ultimate Kristoffer Polaha list, it belongs because it was the beginning. So that's why I think it should be like solid in the middle.
How do you think Meghan Markle did in this?
Fine.
Fine. I want Kathy to start a movie review podcast that's just
Fine.
one
Fine.
word for every movie review.
Fine.
Fine. And she did that.
I
with,
don't
like,
want to say anything bad. She wasn't bad. She wasn't actively bad. as they say.
She wasn't actively bad.
Yeah.
Tracy, what do you think of the Dater's Handbook for number 6?
I think I go in with a little bit of bias. I love royal family stuff, and I hate Meghan Markle.
Mm.
Cannot stand her. I literally like cannot stand her. This is number 15. This is my very last place movie. I cannot stand it. I mean, Polaha couldn't say. I rewatched it and I was like, I love his character, but I don't like anything else about this movie. She just ruined it for me. I'm just gonna be flat out honest. Can't stand the woman. So veto gone.
Wow.
Bye. No.
You don't think that because it was his first movie
Nope,
with
I don't care
Hallmark?
if it was his
Nope.
first one. I don't care if it's his first one. I don't. I this was the one movie. If somebody brought it up, I was like, I don't care if I only have one veto. I'm going to use it on this movie.
I'm not heartbroken about it.
Tracy.
So I cannot. Oh, I can't stand her. Oh,
Tracy has vetoed the Dater's Handbook that Catherine played, but Shannon, you have a veto override.
Oh, I would never use that for this. That was my last one too. I was
Thank you,
so
Shannon.
ready. I was so ready to can it. I'm like, I'm sentimental for Rocky Mountain Christmas, but not this. I couldn't stand it.
I think Catherine played us well. I don't think Catherine had this on her list in the middle. I think Catherine has this on the bottom, and she made it so that I have to play a veto. I think she's using my strategy from last time trying to get, and it worked because
There is a little bit of a sly smirk on her face.
I
No,
can't.
I
I don't
really,
No, I don't believe you have
I
this in the
don't-
middle of your list. I don't. It's can't.
I
can't
do.
stand
I
it.
really
How
thought
dare
that.
Oh,
I really thought because it was his first movie, like we're making the definitive list here. This is like the beginning of his relationship with Hallmark. That's why I think it belongs on the list. I really
No,
mean
but
that.
he's
I'm
done
not,
much
I'm not
better.
playing a game with this. I really mean it.
I don't know if I believe you, Catherine. Either way, it worked. I used my veto, and I don't care.
Oh,
Wait, you
okay.
didn't use your veto though, right? Oh, you did.
I
she
did,
have the
yeah.
override that she's not going to use,
So
right?
Tracy
Right.
used her veto. So Catherine, you have to send me a different title. So Dater's Handbook is off the list in the 6th position. In the unlikely event of an emergency water landing and you want to play it again higher up on the list, any one of you can do so, including Catherine, but it cannot be played again at number 6. So Catherine's going to send me a new one. And before she does that,
I already sent it.
Jane, do you have a reaction to that veto?
I feel like we shouldn't let our personal feelings about the actors and actresses affect our decisions.
Don't care. Don't care. Don't care.
Okay, so listen. So I remember the only reason why I watched this movie back in 2016 when it aired is because I actually liked the other guy, Jonathan Scarf, the blonde guy. Love in the Air is one of my all-time favorite Hallmark movies, and I adore him in that. And so that's why I watched Dater's Handbook. But I came away thinking I really like that dark-headed dude. And at that point, I didn't worry about remembering his name. I was just like, yeah, the dark-headed dude. And then when I later saw another movie with him, I'm like, wait, is that the dude? Is that the dude from that Dater's Handbook movie? And so I actually have that movie on DVD. And so I put it in my DVD player. I was like, oh my gosh, that's the same guy. I love this guy. and that's when my true love for Polaha started. So I have a special special love for Dater's Handbook. I happen to like Meghan Markle in this movie. I thought she was very cute. And yeah, that's where I stand on
Well, I
Dater's
didn't
Handbook.
say she wasn't good in it. I just don't like her.
But that's why you vetoed it. You went on and on about how
Well,
your
yeah, that's
veto
not
is not the
oh,
movie. You're vetoing Meghan Markle. They're two different
same.
things.
In this case, it's the same thing for me. She ruined Suits for me. Ruined Suits for me. What can I say?
Ruins. Let's don't get us started on this topic.
Yeah, Tracy and I will spend
Fortunately.
the rest of the day talking about the
Exactly.
Royals.
Fortunately, Catherine has already sent in her second attempt for number 6, and that is actually the movie that was just out in 2022 with Marisol Nichols. It's We Wish You a Merry Christmas. So Becca and Robbie are a married couple having a hard time connecting with each other as the holidays approach. Just before Christmas, they head to a cozy Vermont inn on the advice of their marriage coach so they can recharge. Their weekend away gets unexpectedly extended when a mishap puts their car out of commission. Will they reconnect? Will they reconnect, Catherine?
I think they will. Shot spoiler alert.
Do you want to be stuck in that
I know I
town?
said the spoiler before I said spoiler alert, but in
You
Hallmark
just said, I
land-
think. You didn't say they did.
That's true.
I
In Hallmark
think they
land, we
will.
think they will.
No.
Okay, so I think this one, like, it came off as kind of a disappointment when we first watched it, because this was during the marathon, if you guys remember, and we were all on a high from the marathon, and Noelle Next Door was like better than everyone expected, and then this was the second movie of the night, and it started out so promising. We had like Pascal Hutton, where'd she come from? It's her cameo in this movie. We had a Kelly Clarkson song, which is so refreshing when you hear so many generic Christmas songs throughout the whole season. And the storyline was different. It's about a married couple like trying to find their way back to each other, and they go to a small town, and then it just kind of got weird. But at the end of the Christmas season, when I was making my final list, this one didn't keep slipping. It kind of stayed in the middle, like high middle. I rewatched it for this podcast, and I was like, it wasn't that bad. And in carrying on my tradition of picking a wine to pair with a pod draft here, I chose today Sauvignon Blanc. Is not what they drink, but they do get really wine drunk in this movie. And the reason I chose this one is it comes from the small town of San Ynez, California. And that is a theme in Kristoffer Polaha Christmas movies, a small town. So here's my small town wine to go with the small town movie.
Nice.
Anyway, I think this movie was good. It was better than the first watch when I rewatched it, and I think it belongs on the list. There we go.
Catherine coming in with sentimental heartstring reasons, trying to make sure this one doesn't get vetoed. Tracy, did it work? You gonna let this stay? We wish you a
I'm
Merry
totally
Christmas.
gonna let this one stay. We watched it again as well. I was like, I probably should watch this one more time, and I really liked it. The second time I watched it, and I mean, how can you not love alpacas too? I know some people didn't like them, but I love the alpacas and their cute little dog Jerry. But I did like their chemistry together, and yeah, so I liked it a lot upon second viewing. So yeah, I'm cool with that at 6.
No veto from Tracy. What about you, Shannon W?
But when this one was promoted, it was this fun laugh a minute movie, and that's not what we got. It was, definitely not what I was expecting. But when I watched it without all that, without the expectations, I really liked it, especially the part where they're at the parade and they just yell out, "We love you, Jerry," as their
Right.
little dog goes by. It was like, I loved that. And I thought the cast was great. I cannot for the life of me understand how how they promoted it as they did. But as a movie without all that hype, I thought it was great. And I actually did have it at number 6 as well.
So no veto from you. This was a
Nope.
tough one. This was a tough one for me because, like you, the way that it was promoted, I was waiting for the Laugh Fest, right?
Mhm.
So I didn't like it the first time I saw it, but when I rewatched it for this, it actually, you know, I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. I could see some really lovely interactions, and I don't particularly want to ever be stuck in that town. I'm not sure what's happening there, but I really liked it. Jane, where is this on your list? Are you a Polaha fan? What's going
For the list for this podcast, I had it ranked a little bit lower. I didn't think you guys would have it this high, but my personal list, it's right on track. I enjoyed this movie. I agree that I thought it was going to be more of a comedy. So when it turned out to be more of a drama, that took it down a peg for me, but they brought it home because through the whole movie, you know, they kept talking about their relationship and remember this trip that we took together and remember that trip. And you realize that the times that they got along were the times where they were able to get away and connect. And when they were home and not able to connect, that's when they felt fractures. And so, you know, through the whole movie, I'm totally invested thinking, talk about the fact that the reason why you connect is because you're not letting the real world interfere. And finally they got there at the end and I'm like, thank you. This is the movie that I was hoping for as it went further along. So I enjoyed this movie tremendously just because it did have a more serious tone in the end versus the comedy. Although I did enjoy the comedy aspects that were in there. Him yelling, "You've got to be kidding me." I was
so good.
I was saying that in my house for weeks before the movie aired because the trailer kept showing it. And so for everything in my house, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. But no, I can absolutely support this being in the middle of the pack.
All right, so We Wish You a Merry Christmas is locked in at number 6. So just to recap, we have for number 10, Hearts of Christmas, number 9, Rocky Mountain Christmas, number 8, Playing for Dead, that's episode 2 from the Mystery 101 series. Number 7, An Education in Murder, that's number 5 from the 101 series. And number 6 that we just accepted is We Wish You a Merry Christmas. Guys, do you want to keep going? Do you want to take a little break? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling okay. Don't know
I'm
about
good.
anybody else, but
I'm just
good.
gonna fill up
Keep
my
going.
wine. It'll take me 1 second, but
Okay, you can go.
You know, I felt like whoever did the marketing swapped the marketing for Haul Out the Holly and We Wish You a Merry Christmas, because we all expected to laugh a minute, but we did not expect that from Haul Out the Holly.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it was like,
you're
it was
right.
promoted more like a drama. It was like they needed to swap their promotion for those two movies.
Yeah.
And I think that we would have liked We Wish You a Merry Christmas on the first watch. Because I do think that was the problem, was we were waiting for the laugh. It was marathon weekend.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
And then
Absolutely.
yeah, agree.
Yeah,
how come
good point.
Hallmark doesn't program their
marital
movies
problems.
with the DTH
Like, oh.
marathon?
Yeah, they need to coordinate that better, right? Okay, Tracy, you are up with your
right.
pick for
Number
number
5.
5. We are grooving right along.
Mhm.
Any trivia questions or any little tidbits that you guys want to share, Jane or Aaron Beth?
I think it's Aaron Beth.
Well, since we all love Dater's Handbook so much, where did Kristoffer Polaha take Megan's character when they waited for her car to get fixed?
Bowling alley.
Bowling alley. So
Finally knew one. Oh, good.
All right, I have Tracy's pick. Tracy is offering up a movie from 2018 where Chris plays Colin. Alex is played by Jill Wagner. It's Pearl in Paradise. An adventurous photographer and a less than adventurous novelist search for a mysterious pearl in the paradise of Fiji. And this was actually played in the Filmed on Location edition as well, because it was filmed in Fiji.
It wasn't.
We
played.
didn't play it though.
no.
No, you didn't.
We talked
we
about
didn't
it.
play
We
it.
didn't play it.
No.
Aaron Beth and I played it.
That's true. That's it.
We basically played every movie that wasn't on your list. I recall.
It's true.
So Tracy, tell us about Pearl in Paradise and why you think it belongs at number 5.
Well, it's Jill Wagner and Chris plot. Their chemistry is off the charts. It's in Fiji, which It was beautiful. You know, it was like I think it's the third time I watched it, to rewatch it for this. I don't think I rewatched it for the location one. I don't think I rewatched it for that one because I thought, oh, I remember how it goes. There's too many movies to watch. Maybe I wish I kind of watched it again, because upon third watching, I forgot how much I really liked it. I like that movie. I don't know. His character is a little bit like, I don't know. It's not my favorite character that he's done, but to see the character progress from this, I don't travel anywhere, I don't do anything, I just write all these places from my office, to seeing like her point of view of, oh, like it's nice to be able to actually see these things in person, and the adventure that they go on, and spoilers, they find the pearl but don't say that they found the pearl, and I loved it. I'll say I liked it. It sits in the middle of the pack for me, which is 5. So there we go.
There you go. Okay, Catherine, what do you think? Number 5.
Yeah, I think 5 is a perfect spot for this. It's a beautiful movie. The settings, the scenery, everything's stunning in this movie. The two of them obviously have great chemistry. That's why they made a whole series of movies with them after this. If it had gotten played in the filmed on location one, I would not have vetoed it. It just didn't come up. Because that's the weird thing about this like draft versus the other one, is we had like over 20 movies to rank and we only had 7, and this one we're ranking 10 out of 15, so a lot more of his stuff's going to come up. So I do like this one. I love their chemistry, I love the setting. I think 5 is the perfect position for it, so I'm not going to use a veto on it.
Way to go. If we ever do another filmed on location one, I would do it as a 10 draft, just because of the numbers and the interplay. But what I love about the standard 7 draft is, matching up people that, are friends that connect in real life, and just seeing if their movies actually jibe with their vibe.
I think today we are jiving more than we did last time, Tracy.
I think so, yeah. I think we are.
As I recall, I think because of the there was a lot of gameplay smack talk in the chat that started, when I first paired you guys up. So I was ready for like this rambunctious meetup, and that's exactly what we got. But this time you guys were like really quiet, right?
Oh, in the chat, yeah.
In the chat, probably because we're we all formulated this like right during the holidays. Breaks. There's so much going on.
But also,
We only have time for smack talk.
There's only 15 movies too, though. That's the thing, and 7 of them are mysteries. So we know we're not going to play all 7 of the mysteries. So it's really just kind of more about ranking than like what's going to get on the list.
What's going to get on the list, except if Jane was actually drafted. Whole new ball game.
Tracy and I are having words after this.
Oh my goodness, Jane. Don't forget, I'm also your Doctor Who pal.
That's right. That's true. Okay. Yeah, you're right. I'll take that into consideration.
Okay, thank you.
Shannon. Yes, Shannon, what about you for Pearl in Paradise?
This is the first time I ever watched Pearl in Paradise. No matter how much I love Chris, I just never wanted to see this movie, and I don't know why. It's like, oh, I don't care. But I'm like, all right, I'm gonna watch it. So I watched it, and I loved it. I thought, oh my goodness. In fact, this is higher on the list, on my list. It was just seeing him standing out in the jungle, just saying, would you still have asked me to come? It was like, oh, my heart. I just loved it. And I wish my hair looked as impeccable as Jill Wagner's out in the jungle. It was beautiful. I love when they went, and every scene with Daniela and Malachi, they were great. I thought it was a great movie. I did have it higher, but I'm going to go ahead and leave it there. So I'm not going to use my veto.
You are not going to. You have 2 vetoes. You have 2.
Do I have 2?
So
No, I
has
have
one
one
and
and
the
the
override.
override.
Oh, you have 1. Yes.
Yeah.
Shannon's
You're not gonna
secretly
use
going
it?
to like rule the top three, I think is what's coming.
This is where the gloves will, this is where the gloves will come off and Jane is probably just gonna leave, right?
That's right. I can
Gonna-
picture this.
Like, I'm
Flip
out
the
of here.
table. Gonna flip that table right over.
Table flipping. I'd actually kind of like to, I'd kind of like to see that. So Catherine, while you're working on sending me your suggestion for number 4, Jane, what are your thoughts on Pearl in Paradise for number
Well,
5 that we've
This
just
is the
locked in?
one, yeah, this is the one that I watched after Dater's Handbook and was like, oh, is that the same dude? And I enjoyed seeing him do comedy versus the more, the more serious role in Dater's Handbook. And so I loved Pearl in Paradise. So I would have had it a little higher on my list, but yeah, I just thought he was delightful. And I felt seen when he thought he had a bug on him and tried to get the bug off and, was like twitching to, that's me. I hate the outdoors. And so I am that character.
Well, Aaron, Beck, you and
Tracy,
I
the
clearly
reason-
love this movie, right?
Oh yeah. Let's say, Tracy, the reason that you said you didn't like his character as much in this movie, is that because he's playing a character we're not used to seeing him? Because normally he's the big burly, like, oh yeah, guy.
Very suave.
And in this movie, he was not.
Yeah, he
and
played
so
more
was
of
that
like
way.
a bookish.
He was neurotic.
Maybe saying that I didn't like the character might be a little bit off. It's like, but he played a more bookish off type, let's put it that way, than he normally does. So like I said, I still have it like kind of here in the middle of the pack. Yeah, I think so. It's just not what we're used to seeing. But he does it well. Like he can do anything, let's face it.
Jane,
This is
kind of
my
like
favorite
Wes
character that he
Brown,
plays,
right?
that he played.
the
And I
bug
think it's because
comment,
to me,
Jane?
he seems attainable. Normal Chris Polaha is like, no, but
I did like
the
that he was
book
a tea
author?
drinker. I like that he was a tea drinker because I'm a tea drinker too. So I was like, oh, okay. But I don't know. I like, give me the Travis Burks. That's
Yeah.
who I will always fall for.
I was gonna quickly say, Jane, that the comment about the bug, this is one of the most creative almost kiss like stopping points, is that he gets a bug in his eye.
Yes, absolutely.
Like,
I
that's the
love
only
that
time we
scene.
will ever see that.
Oh, we should do like a creative stop kiss
The
draft.
almost kiss.
Yeah.
The almost
So
kiss.
no
I'll make
cell
a-
phone.
That would be,
Cell phones
that
not
would be
allowed.
watching every single movie
Every
ever
single
made.
I know. Oof.
I was wondering if this is the only Hallmark movie that actually had a Lord of the Rings actor in it.
Oh, really?
Well, because they filmed it down there. Maybe
That's right.
there's a lot of local cast down there.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, the
Mm.
Witch King and the Witch King from Lord of the Rings was it the dad? Who was the man that was at the table telling the story of the blue pearl?
Oh no, he was the friend. He was
a
the
friend. The
yeah.
friend's just a friend's friend.
something like that.
Something like
Yeah.
that. The friend's friend. Yeah. He was
Yeah.
the Witch King.
Okay, I have Catherine's pick for number 4, right? Okay,
Yep.
number 4. So this co-stars Carly Pope as Rebecca. Chris plays Chris. That's Chris with a CH, not a KR. And it is Double Holiday from 2019. And it goes like this. Rebecca endures working with her colleague and rival, Chris, to plan the office Christmas party in the hopes of getting a promotion. And while spending so much time together, they will take their eyes off the prize. And will they see each other anew? I don't know. Will they see each other anew?
Spoiler alert, I think so.
I don't think that's a spoiler alert.
I know. It's Hallmark, it's not a spoiler.
Exactly.
So this movie, I am going to I'm ready to defend it because I know this is one that DTH did not see so highly. And if this was Catherine's ultimate ranking of Kristoffer Polaha movies, this would be number 1. But I am being objective, and I know that it's probably not his best, even though I think it is. So I'm going to put it at 4. I hope it stays there. I know it's tropey. It's a party planning movie. They're both up for the same promotion. It's all the same stuff we see all the time, but within the confines of these Hallmark tropes, It's actually really well written. It's Nina Weinman who does so many of these movies. I think she did a great job with this one. The actors' performances, the two leads, are perfect. They're so good. Like everything they do in this movie is great. They have amazing chemistry. I like the fancy suit guy side story. That is awesome. I like, back to Nina Weinman's writing, like the progression from them being work rivals to them being friends to them at the end, like falling for each other, is like totally believable. And the fact that they've worked in the same cubicle as each other for a year, but don't really know each other until they get forced to work together, I actually will buy that too, because they really like focus on the fact that she's a different person at work than she is with her family or outside of work. So I think it's well written. One of my favorite scenes that I just want to, like, if I was going to do the all the feels section, is when her and her friend are getting ready for the party, and her friend tells her that she's glowy when she talks about him, and that she responds to say that she would be like happy if he got the promotion, and that she would rather like lose to know that he won. And I think it's so genuine. He is the same way when they go to him about her getting the promotion. I really buy it. I think their performances are so great in this. And like I said, in a perfect world, I would make this number one, but I'm trying to be objective. Still, number 4 is pretty high up. There you have it.
There you have it, according to Catherine. Tracy, are you going to crush her dreams here, or what's going to happen?
I can hear Daniel Thompson right now.
I know.
Veto it! Veto, you've got to veto it, Tracy. You've got to veto it. I can just hear him right now.
He's not here.
Oh, I know. And I figured out from our last draft that you are a hopeless romantic, because for number 1, woof, was not my favorite. But so I'm not surprised that you put this one so high up on the list. It's not that high on my list, but it's not the bottom of my list. I'm
restraining myself at 4.
So I'm not surprised that you chose it. I've always thought a little bit higher of this movie than Daniel and Jonathan Shapiro and everybody else, right? I've always thought higher of it for the same reasons that you like it. I don't like it as much as you do, but 4, okay. Sorry, Dan, I'm not vetoing it. I'm good keeping it right where, or at least for me. I don't know about Shannon, but I'm gonna keep it where it's at.
Okay, so Tracy wants to stay in Dan's good graces, so she's not gonna veto it.
Oh no, I am not in his good graces now. He wants me to veto that sucker. I know that.
Shannon W., what about you? Are you going to let Double Holiday stay in the fourth place on the list?
If I had this movie on a VHS tape, it would have long worn out. I love this movie so much. The banter in this movie is just the kitchen scene alone is so wonderful. I am staying. And when her parents come in, it's just leaving. Like, oh my God. I adore this movie. I also have it, surprisingly enough, at number 4, for the same reason. Like, I would have it at number 1. I would 100% have it at number 1. I would say this is my gateway drug to Kristoffer Polaha. This was the first time I saw him and went, oh, that man, oh my gosh, who is that? He's just wonderful. But yeah, at number 4, yeah. Oh, and I didn't even realize until you just said that his name is Chris and his name is Chris. Like, just now, it's just dawned on me. So, but yeah, wow. Number 4. I would actually move it up higher, but I would be afraid that Tracy might veto it and bump it off the list. So I'm going to leave it at 4 and be happy with that.
Have I that brutal? Wow.
So I'm envisioning that the next time Shannon W., Catherine, and Tracy get together, this is going to be a movie watch of the double holiday. Catherine and Shannon are going to be in heaven, and Tracy's going to have her AirPods in, listening to anything else.
I'll just have a Tyler Hines movie going on in the back.
All right. So while we wait for Shannon to send me her number 3, that's right, guys, we're
Ah.
getting to the top 3 here. Jane,
Wow.
what are your thoughts on Double Holiday?
I
at
didn't. I
number
knew it
4?
would be on the list. I didn't think it would be this high on the list. I'm fine with it being this high on the list. But I thought it would be a little bit lower. I agree that the dialogue of this movie is the winner. That the banter between the two characters is great, and then also the fact that it was a very sincere, to me, Christopher Polaha, Chris's dive into learning more about her background and her culture and her traditions around the holiday with Hanukkah, that he was very sincere in wanting to participate, which I appreciated. And I'd be curious to know if he still can sing
Yeah, the prayer. Yeah.
the prayer.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I read an interview where he talked about how he loved learning that song. And so I'd be curious to, like, next time I see him in person, hey, sing it for me. Can you still
Can
sing
you
it
sing the blessing? Let's
after
go.
all this time?
True.
No, I love that part when he says like next time I'm going to be off book, and he was. And so
Yeah, yeah.
That's so sweet. So Shannon, are you ready
Ah,
to
This one's
send,
killing me.
send me your number
Ah.
3? EP, what did you think of this movie? My most
You know, going
memorable part of the
into it,
movie is actually Jonathan Shapiro's like crazy
going
review
into
with
it,
the
I
guys.
couldn't remember if I had liked it when I watched it because I've only watched it the one time. But I remembered the guys didn't like it. So, but I don't listen to their reviews while I'm doing the stuff for this because I don't like to be clouded. And I loved this movie. I was like, I don't remember if I liked it when I watched it the first time, but I love it now. It's like,
could I have gotten
really
away
thought
at
it was a
playing this at number
cute
2?
movie. Huh?
Could I have gotten away at playing this at number 2?
Yeah.
It's a cute movie. I don't know. I'm not on the ranking.
I know, but I'm like, wow, nobody's fighting me on this. I was ready. Like I thought I was gonna...
I don't know. Tracy may have had an issue with it at number 2.
She may have, but Shannon has a veto override, so you never know.
That's true.
Oh, and she loved it. You may have gotten away with it at number 2.
Man, I
You
played
might
it
have.
wrong this
You
time.
might have. Well, I have Shannon's pick for number 3. So we're moving into the top 3 here. So Shannon sent over a Mystery 101 pick, actually. It's the final episode number 7 that premiered in August of 2021. It's called Deadly History. Amy and Travis travel to New York to investigate after Amy's uncle goes missing, and the initial clues make them fear the worst. Shannon, why do you like this one for number 3?
All right. Despite the ending, this is my favorite of the Mystery 101 episodes. I like the story. I liked the cast. I just, I love the fact just watching the whole interaction between Travis and Amy. It was like, oh my gosh. And then the ending. I watched this with my daughter, and we were just so invested, and we were trying to figure out who did it, and the red herrings were perfect in this one, and then that ending. But still, I had so much fun watching with my daughter Emily and trying to figure out who did it. And I think this is the one where Jill Wagner was pregnant. Yeah.
Mhm.
During the filming, yeah. So I don't know, it's just, for me, I guess it was just the moment spent with my daughter, and she's a mystery nut, and she loved this one, so I'm gonna put it up there.
All right. Deadly History. Shannon is offering up for the number 3 position. Tracy, what do you think? You're going to let this stay at number 3? What did you think of Deadly History?
Yeah, I had it at my number 3 actually. So Peter Benson, come on, who doesn't love Peter Benson? And they finally say I love you at almost the end, which made it even more gut wrenching. The ending more gut wrenching. And I think we've been waiting for so long for them to just, oh come on, anyway, yeah, I really liked it. I mean, there's some silly parts. Are you really going to swim from the boat all the way to the, I know you were a high school swim captain, right? Something captain, but still fully clothed like that.
I was gonna say, did she have like a fully chunky sweater on?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And in jeans, have you ever jumped into a pool with jeans on? They weigh you
And it's been a
down.
while. It's been a while since she's been in high school. I mean, I played
Yeah.
volleyball in high school. Doesn't mean I'm
True.
gonna go.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go
but
jump on the court.
my guess is she's probably still in the same shape that she was when she was in high school. Jill Wagner, anyway. I'm gonna just say. Anyway, but I do.
For sure.
Yeah. Anyway, I do like this one. This is my favorite Mystery 101 as well. So I'm all for number 3 on this one.
You're all for number 3?
Yeah.
All right. Catherine, what about you?
Yeah, I knew this one was going to be probably the top Mystery 101 when I ranked all my 7. This was my second favorite. I still liked An Education in Murder better than this, but this is the second best. I think the like mystery part is very standard, like Hallmark movies and mystery, but that ending just sets it apart completely. The cliffhanger ending and when they finally say I love you and then just like quickly like smash cut to they're not together anymore. And it's like shocking, and you never get really shocked in these movies, so it really stands out because of that. It's really sad that it never got like a proper ending, and I agree with Tracy. I do not count the Mallory Jansen movie as this is what would have happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think number 3 is a good place for this. This is probably, I hope this will be the highest Mystery 101, but we'll see how the rest of the game plays out. So
All right, so Deadly History is locked in at number 3. Catherine, while you're getting ready to send me your pick for number 2, let me just do a quick recap of where we are. We have in the 10th position, Hearts of Christmas, number 9, Rocky Mountain Christmas, number 8, Playing for Dead, that's episode 2 of Mystery 101. Number 7, An Education in Murder, that's Mystery 101, episode number 5. In 6th position, we have We Wish You a Merry Christmas. In 5th, Pearl in Paradise. In 4th, Double Holiday. We just locked in Deadly History at number 3. And Catherine has sent me her pick for the 2nd position. She's offering up a movie from 2018. Chris plays Emmett. Ashley Newbro plays Nell. It's A Small Town Christmas. High-flying female Nell, a novelist from New York, takes a trip to the small town that inspired her latest bestseller and reconnects with her former boyfriend, Emmett, who owns a bookstore. Catherine, why do you like this one at number 2?
okay, so I think this one belongs at number 2 because it is Kristoffer Polaha trying something with his performance that no other Hallmark leading man would do. This is his Jimmy Stewart impression, right? Like walking down the street and saying hi to everybody and knowing the whole town. I think the one thing that pulls it back a little bit is Ashley Newbro.
Newbro? Yeah.
Newbro. She's fine. I don't have like a problem with her in this movie. Fine is my given like critique of all of these actresses, I guess. But
Whatever.
If it was Ashley Williams in this role, it would have been like it probably would have been
so
one. This one, it's like I said, I'm hoping that Tracy has the same number 1 as me. But this wouldn't have been my number 2. I think Double Holiday would have been my number 2. And I just think it's for his performance alone, it belongs at the top because we're ranking Chris Polaha, and he gives an amazing performance in one more movie that I'm hoping is number 1. So as number 2, this is another great performance. We're ranking his movies. And speaking of his performance, there's one line read that I just think is so funny and deserves a shout out on this podcast is whenever he talks about Preston Vanderslice's character, Brad, he says, Brad, and it's just like Newman in Seinfeld, like
Yeah.
And it's so good. And anyway, so that's why I think it belongs at 2, and I hope it stays that way. Let's see.
Catherine kind of urging Tracy to be gentle. Tracy, you're first up in the veto order. Are you going
I
to?
can I can hear Dan again. Veto it, veto it. I can hear him in my head.
But what do we
But
have
I'm not-
left, guys? What do we have left?
Oh no, no,
here?
no. I'm not gonna veto it. I'm not gonna veto it for the same reasons like you did, because I don't think I realized it was Jimmy Stewart until he told the guys in
Yeah.
the interview that he was doing Jimmy Stewart. And then I went back and watched it after that interview, and I was like, oh my gosh, he's totally doing Jimmy Stewart. And
Mhm.
I love that. I love that. One of my favorite things is about one like his interaction with his niece in this movie, the character, and he calls her Peanut. I can't tell you how my heart just goes, oh, Peanut, because my dad used to call us Pumpkin and like those little like kid names. Like you don't always call your kids, well, unless you're mad at them, by their name. I don't know. Our family had terms of endearments like that, and so when he would just be like, "Hey, Peanut," and I was just like, oh. So I love it for that. I agree with you. I think if it was Ashley Williams, it would have been like, woof. I could have put that at number one. I won't say I had it at 2, but I don't hate it at 2. So sorry, Dan, again, not gonna veto it. Not gonna happen. Because I
Wow.
like this one.
Tracy writing apology emails already. That's always a good.
This way I don't have to justify it on Facebook with him. I can just say it right now.
Exactly. You don't have to. Exactly. Shannon, what do you think of Small Town Christmas at number 2? Are you going to veto it or are you going to let it ride?
This movie made it really hard for me to watch all the Mystery 101s because every time I would see Preston Vanderslice, I'd be like, Brad, every time.
Yeah.
It was kind of like with Robin Thomas, because I'd seen Life Unexpected, and at first I was like, that guy's such a jerk, he's such a bad dad. I'm like, no, wrong movie, wrong role. Small Town Christmas is I'm assuming I know which one is going to be number 1. And if that wasn't in the running, then Small Town Christmas would be my number 1. I would love to go to Springdale. I can't say I'd want to read Nell's book, but I would like to go to Springdale and just live in the bookstore. That would be wonderful. Yeah, this is, and again, I would like to see a different leading lady, but it is what it is. So yeah, number two.
Number 2, everyone's in agreement. Small Town Christmas it is. So while Tracy is going to send me her number 1 pick, which may or may not be a surprise, Jane, what are your thoughts on Small Town Christmas?
I totally agree with where it is on the list. I thought you guys would have it lower on the list, but I'm thrilled that it's number 2 because for me personally, it's my number 2. I loved It's a Wonderful Life growing up. I've seen that movie hundreds of times, so I knew immediately what he was doing in this movie, and I was here for it. I loved it. And there was one scene in the movie that I loved so much that I actually screenshot the look on his face because he was making such a silly face. Let me see if I can get it on here without reflection.
Look, yes.
But I was like,
Look at
that is Chris making a face, not his character making a face.
Yeah.
And I loved it so much that I took a screenshot. I'm like, that dude, man, he's just the best. He's just the best.
He's awesome. And I'm happy for you guys and also envious that the 4 of you, have vibed with him, have met him, hung out with him. Jane, we are going to pick you apart at Bramblefest this year. Don't do not make any plans for lunch on any day. And maybe even dinner. Who knows?
There was
Okay.
one thing that happened during the book signing at the Grove. Everybody was talking and I was up next to get my book signed. And he looked at me and says, I don't know why, but I was so nervous to come here. And I'm like, you're talking to me? You're talking to me? Like, you're just a regular person talking to me? Oh, it was, yeah. What a great, normal, down to earth guy.
He sounds awesome. Okay, I have
Pretty
Tracy's
incredible.
pick for number 1. It's a movie in which Chris plays Jake, Brooke Dorsey is Cassie. It's 2021's A Dickens of a Holiday. To make the 100th anniversary of her hometown's Victorian Festival a success, Cassie invites action movie star and former high school classmate Jake to play in A Christmas Carol.
How can
Well.
you not love this movie? I mean,
Right.
come on, even his stupid do the right thing or it's the last thing you'll do. Come on. Because he just played it so over the top. So like you knew he was making fun or satirizing that action hero. Like, and then and him and Brooke Dorsey, their chemistry off the charts. That one scene where she's trying to teach him how to be like physically, like she like manipulates his face and like every time like and then at the end him like he comes back, of course, spoilers, he comes back and he doesn't go to the big Hollywood meeting, and he plays Scrooge, and his performance is Scrooge. It hits on so many different levels. Even the kid actor wasn't so bad who played his nephew. I mean, he wasn't great, but for Hallmark standards, he was all right. And then the way he interacted with it was just, I loved it. Even his assistant, like it was all so good. Like I don't know how this one, I was like, I hope everybody wants this one to be number one because it's got to be number one. So good.
A great choice, but let's see, it's not over yet. Catherine may disagree. Catherine, what do you think about A Dickens of a Holiday?
I wasn't even trying to like hide my like
I know.
my approval of this movie at number one. I think we all came in, hopefully I don't, Shannon's up next, but I think we all came in with this number one. And I will side note, I looked up all of the IMDb rankings for Kristoffer Polaha's movies, and this was his highest rated non-Mystery 101 movie. So I think that's kind of weird that there's two Mystery 101s that came before this, but still this is his highest rated. His performance is just amazing in this. It's from like, satirizing like film stars like Tracy was saying, to just that scene with him and Brooke and doing the Christmas Carol, and what he's doing, I don't think there's very many other leading Hallmark men that could do that.
Mm-hmm.
He even does a Godfather like Brando impression in this movie. And they have great chemistry. The supporting cast is good. Like it's his best movie. Like when we agreed to do the Polaha ranking, I'm like, I mean, there's an obvious number one here, and I'm glad that Tracy agrees so far. So
Shannon W., this is your big moment. You can blow it up or you can let it slide. What are you gonna do?
Those Ace Hardware plugs. I mean,
Yeah, that too.
Just ruined it for you, right?
Yeah, I would have been such a great movie had it not been for Ace Hardware. I just I don't know how to do this, but yeah. You talk about so many moments of just holding your breath throughout this movie. It was like like the scene that Tracy was talking about with she's the face, and you're in there with them. And it's like and then there's a little part where they're in the cafe and they're talking about the brothers are talking about their mom's chicken pot pie.
Mm.
And you could just see the walls start to break between the characters, and I mean and then of course Chris's acting on the stage was just yeah, of course it has to be number one. It has to be.
It has to be number one. Okay, so before we do the final review of the list, you guys did a great job. This is when Erin, Beth, Jane, and I are going to reveal our side hustle to see how well we did against you guys. So we just had to get the correct titles on the list, not necessarily in the right order. So Jane, tell us what your top 10 movies were on your list.
All right.
And how many you matched.
Okay, so I had down that you guys would select as your number 10 We Wish You a Merry Christmas. I picked two completely different Mystery 101s. We're not even going to go into that because you'll hate me, so we're going to skip over 9 and 8. And then we're going to act like they don't exist. And then I thought the double holiday would be 7, Small Town Christmas 6, Rocky Mountain Christmas 5. I thought Pearl in Paradise would be 4. Dater's Handbook 3. And then here's where y'all are going to call me crazy. I thought Dickens of a Holiday would be 2 and that Hearts of Christmas would be 1.
Oh my
Wow.
I misjudged you all. I'm sorry.
Did you rewatch that one? I just gotta
Listen, I actually do enjoy Hearts of Christmas. I actually love that he does call her Jenny Miller through the whole movie, because that's what I do with my friends. I don't call them by just their first name. I call them by their first and last name. I've done that for years. And there's particular people that I do that for, but that's my sign of affection, that I call them by their total name. So that's one aspect of that movie that I loved. And I don't know, I guess because it was an early one, I thought that it would be one that everybody loved because it's one of his first ones. Clearly I was wrong.
You know what? When Aaron, Beth, and I first did our lists with the Andrew Walker draft and then the filmed on location drafts, where we were mostly trying to our lists were predictions, we like struck out every single time. So now my list is actually a combination of my personal preferences and maybe a little bit of predictions. So Aaron, Beth, why don't you go next and tell us what's on your list?
All right. Well, I have Small Town Christmas at 10. Hearts of Christmas at 9. We Wish You a Merry Christmas at 8. Mystery 101's Deadly History at 7. Dater's Handbook, hashtag Harry and Meghan forever. Sorry, Tracy. I am the complete opposite of you.
Oh no, I think they're
So-
perfect for each other though.
Well, now we know how she feels about Harry too.
Tracy, you and I have to talk. We have to hang.
Trying. So yeah, I agree with your hashtag there, Beth.
Stay together forever. I actually have never seen Suits. This is the only movie I've ever seen her act in, so I can't speak to her acting chops.
You haven't seen her other Hallmark movie?
Oh, the fireworks one.
Oh, that 4th of July
Tracy's
one.
face.
I forgot.
That was
It's
pretty.
been- I'm
Yeah,
like,
this one's
that's too long
this one's
ago for me
better.
to even remember. Mystery 101's Killer Timing at 5, which is I actually like better than Deadly History.
That's the
Um,
one on IMDb that's higher rated than Dickens.
Well, that
of
one
the
has Aaron Cahill in it.
I did like Aaron Cahill in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just really liked his vulnerability, and that was a really good one. Mystery 101's Dead Talk is number 4. That's actually my number 1 of his Mystery 101 movies. Then Double Holiday at 3. Pearl in Paradise at 2, and it has to be Dickens of a Holiday at 1. I mean, there's just no way. When he does that monologue as Scrooge, I like had tears in my eyes when I watched it. And I actually bought that movie for this, and I didn't have to.
Yeah,
Had it on
yeah.
DVR, but I'm like, I
Same.
want that movie.
Same. The minute it came out on DVD, I
So-
bought it.
Wait, you have it on
Okay.
DVR and you bought it.
I have it on DVR, and I have it now in my iTunes library.
Wow.
So I really liked, and it's that one scene. I will be honest, it's the scene where he does the monologue as Scrooge. It was like that scene alone. I'm like, best movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't that-
That aired the weekend of Christmas Con when it came out. And so I watched it, and then the next day went to Christmas Con, and I went up to him and I said, dude, I said, you have just gone next level beyond Hallmark on a Hallmark movie. I said, what you two did in that scene, it literally is the best scene that has ever been filmed for a Hallmark movie, and is like real movie
Yeah.
quality. It was
Mhm.
outstanding. And he was obviously very appreciative of that. But yeah, I agree, that scene alone transcends what Hallmark does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Totally
Oh,
agree.
for sure.
It really was
sure.
totally
I got
elevated it.
7 correct.
You got
out of
7
the
correct.
10.
How many did you get correct?
I got 7 correct as well.
All right. So here's my list. Number 10 for me was Deadly History from the 101 series. Number 9 was Killer Timing, also from the 101 series. Number 8 was Hearts of Christmas. Number 7 was Double Holiday. Number 6 do not judge me, was gameplay because I thought for sure it was going to be on this list. Dater's Handbook. And in fact, I think it was played at number 6.
Yes, it was.
I wasn't trying to like
Not
pull a
sorry.
veto. I really wasn't trying to
Hashtag.
pull a veto. I really think like as his first movie that should have been on the list, but
Yeah.
I get it. It's fine.
I agree. Number 5 was We Wish You a Merry Christmas. 4, Rocky Mountain Christmas. 3, Small Town Christmas. I really love this. This is actually one of my favorite Chris Polaha movies.
Mhm.
I would normally put it at number 1, but for gameplay, I really felt that Dickens of a Holiday was going to be number 1, and it is. My number 2 is Pearl in Paradise. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there.
Mm.
Oh, very. I know.
Wow.
That-
Dang it.
We're still neck and neck.
Was
Jane, we're
stupid.
gonna-
It was
gonna-
Rocky Mountain Christmas because I couldn't find it in English. I couldn't like remember it.
You have the worst excuses when you lose. Oh my gosh.
It wasn't on the list, so it doesn't count.
You mean brand
And I
synopsis
can't
wasn't
guarantee
enough?
it would have been in my top 10.
And Jane, we'll keep track of you had 7. So if you ever decide that you would like to come back.
Only if Tracy's not here. I refuse to play with Tracy.
you're-
Yeah, if you ever decide to come back, we'll remember you lost today.
we'll remember you'll have 7. So
You're in good
again-
company, Jane.
yeah, you guys did great.
Seven.
Once
I
again,
agree.
for the final time, here is the definitive list of the top 10 best Kristoffer Polaha movies as drafted by Tracy, Shannon W., and Catherine. Number 10 is Hearts of Christmas. 9, Rocky Mountain Christmas. 8, Playing for Dead. That's episode 2 from the Mystery 101 series. Number 7, An Education in Murder. That's episode 5 from the 101 series. Number 6 is We Wish You a Merry Christmas. Number 5 is Pearl in Paradise. Number 4, Double Holiday. Number 3, Deadly History. That's from the Mystery 101 series. Number 2 is Small Town Christmas. And the number 1 definitive Kristoffer Polaha Hallmark movie is A Dickens of a Holiday. Great job.
Yay!
We did it.
Thank you so much. Let's all say bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Hallmark Movie Drafts is produced by me, Lynn Austin, with additional creative and research support from Erin Beth Cermak and Catherine Baca. This show would not be possible without the dedicated and talented Deck the Hallmark podcast Double Deckers, who share their passionate opinions on these Hallmark movies that we love, or maybe not love, so much. Intro and outro music is courtesy of Amada Zapana. If you love this pod, please leave a 5-star review. It helps other Hallmark movie fans to find us and join in on the shenanigans. Be sure to follow the show at Hallmark Movie Drafts on Instagram.